What's going on, you guys? This is Paul from the Basketball Show. Welcome back. All right, folks. The circus I called out a while back, months ago, which there's a video on the channel for this, has officially set up its tent. And honestly, I'm baffled that some of the NBA insiders like Brian Windhorst and the likes didn't see this coming. I mean, these guys are practically tethered to the league, and they didn't see it. But maybe that's the actual problem. I mean, hear me out. Could it be that being too close to the players, too close to the teams, involved in the NBA politics, basically, and trying not to rock the boat, you think that all that blinded those professional analysts, let's say? Meanwhile, people like me, sitting here with no agenda, no connections to protect, just calling it as it is, we've been seeing this mess from the jump. And let's talk about Stephen A for a second. This is just a mention here. He's been flip-flopping on this situation like a fish out of water. First, he's critical. Before Bronny came into the league, he was critical. And then suddenly, as he came into the league, he's all in. Come on now. Recently, I had an awesome chat with Charlie Villanueva. There's an episode on my channel which you can watch. About 40 minutes, conversation about his career, LeBron James, Bronny, all that kind of stuff. And on this subject, he didn't hold back. When I asked him about his whole Bronny situation, he kept it real, and he said the kid is just not ready, period. The Lakers and LeBron are bending over backwards to shield him from any form of adversity, keeping him in his perfect, controlled, scripted bubble. But how long can they really keep that up? Even Brian Windhorst and Ryan Clark, as two examples, have started chiming in, and they don't like what the heck is going on. This is getting ridiculous. It's clear we're all seeing the same thing. I'm going to play their takes in just a moment for you so you can see what they're saying along with Charlie's, because the situation is turning into a full-blown distraction for the Lakers. It doesn't seem like that as it's the beginning of the season right now, but it's going to get bad. The big question is, will Bronny be wrapped up in that bubble his entire contract? He's got a 4-year contract, remember that. Because like Charlie said, he needs more than just this season to even get close to being NBA ready. Right now, just not right there. It's just not there. All right, so here is what Brian, Ryan, and then Charlie from our conversation had to say. Let's dive in, guys.
Wendy, I mentioned your report. It wasn't a report, felt like an opinion on Bronny, but you know how it works. You say something, then all of a sudden people make it a report. And it felt like Bronny was maybe being a diva, the way it was presented, that he's not flying, not getting on an airplane. So I wanted to be fair because I was critical of the report, or your opinion, I should say. So I wanted to have you on just so we can maybe better understand what is it that Bronny is doing in the G League and what happens when his team is on the road.
Yeah, I know. We're in this era where you can go on as you know, Dan, you can say something for, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then one paragraph gets pulled out and it's like you lose all the context. That's reality. What I said, and I'll say again, was that I am totally on board with the whole Bronny James thing with the Lakers. I think it was a smart move to draft him. I think it was a great move to bring him around the team because the 55th pick in the draft hits a single-digit percentage of the time. And if the Lakers can use the 55th pick on Bronny James and get a more engaged LeBron this year, I don't care if it's a single-digit percentage more engaged LeBron, it's a good investment. And so I've been totally on board with it. And also, it is not unusual for NBA roster players, and Bronny is an NBA roster player. He's not a two-way player. This is a little bit of splitting of hairs, especially if you're a casual NBA fan, you don't really care that much about it. But there's a difference between a two-way contract where you're basically signed to spend a lot of your time, if not most of your time, in the G League, and you don't even get paid a full NBA salary, versus being a roster player where you get a full NBA salary no matter what, which Bronny is a full roster player. It is not unusual for full roster players to go down and only play home games for their teams, especially when their teams are so close to the parent club, which in a lot of cases is either in the city or within a very short drive. So in and of itself, it is not special treatment, which is what it sounded like if you only read the tweet. It sounded like that. That's not what I was saying. What I was saying was, I think it would be better for Bronny to go spend a bunch of time in the G League. And that this is the first thing, in my opinion, that it is a misstep with Bronny. And not only that, the South Bay Lakers, the Lakers G League team, which plays, I'm in Los Angeles right now, they just play, 15 miles from Crypto. They have a great history of producing guys who go play with them. They actually have a great development history. We're talking about like Alex Caruso, Taylor Horton Tucker, Austin Reeves, Scottie Pippen Jr., who's playing huge minutes right now for the Memphis Grizzlies, was a guy who spent a bunch of time with the South Bay Lakers. Jay Huff, also playing with the Grizzlies. And so I was just offering an opinion that Bronny should go play there and that should be what happened. I know you take out one paragraph of what I just said, and I said, I don't know if they don't want him to get on an airline, if that's an issue. And also, here's something else. I never said, nor is it true, that this was being asked for by Bronny James or LeBron James. This is the Lakers' organizational decision. And I never said differently. But again, if you only hear a paragraph, if you only read a paragraph, and I understand that social media in a lot of ways programs our world. But that's what I said then, that's what I say now, and I don't change my opinion on that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I wanted context here, because it felt like, Bronny is being a diva. He's not going to get on a United Airlines flight and play on the road. And I agree with you. He needs to play basketball games. He needs to have a full schedule. So he's ready to come up, because I guess, is it going to be strategic depending on TV games? Like Christmas, is he coming up? Do you have any idea what the Lakers are how they're going to use Bronny in these situations?
No, and I'm not sure they do either. I mean, a lot of it comes down, he's not a rotation player. He's not a guy who's going to figure into what JJ Redick is doing on a night-to-night basis. The games that he has played have either been when the Lakers have gotten blown out and he's on the active roster and they just give him basically garbage time, or special moments like when he played in Cleveland. That game ended up being lopsided, but I think they were going to try to get him in that game. And then obviously on opening night, he's not a roster player. So their plans for him are not to be a roster player, or not to be a rotation player unless he earns that. And the way he's going to earn that is not by playing in garbage minutes. He's going to earn that, in my opinion, by going and playing in the G League. And I don't regret saying that, and I do stand by that.
As far as like Bronny James not traveling with the team on road games, and Fred, you saying, well, they stay at the Courtyard Marriott. What has Bronny James done that he shouldn't be able to stay at the Courtyard Marriott? You say, well, they fly commercial. What has Bronny James done where he should be too good to fly commercial? The pros isn't about where you came from, how you were raised, what your parents had. Professional sports is about how well you can contribute. And you don't get treated differently because of your parents. You get treated differently because of your ability to contribute. And if I'm Bronny James, which I'm not, and I haven't grown up that way, I'm begging Rich Paul, I'm begging JJ Redick, I'm begging my father, please let me travel with this team. Please let me stay at the Courtyard Marriott. Please let me fly commercial. Please let me go somewhere where I'm gonna get up more than 6 shots in 3 games to not only prove it to my organization that I'm worthy of being on this team, but to my damn self.
Yeah.
Right? I've never in my life been the best player on any team. I wasn't the best player on my high school team. I wasn't the best player on my college team. I'm not the best player on this professional team or this G League team. Let me go out and prove that. Because like, in the end, all of these accomplishments are gonna be for LeBron James. Bronny James gonna have money, but he ain't gonna have like the one thing that all of us ever want, is proof to ourselves. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to walk off the field and be like, man, they didn't draft me and they cut me, but look at me now.
I respect the hell out of LeBron, as a father aspect, because that's I commend him for that. That's what you want to do. You want to put your kids on, right? But the downside to that is that I personally don't think he's ready. Bronny is not at this current time. It's just not good enough. He had a heart condition. And when he was at USC, he was, let's call it what it is, he was on a bad team. And he didn't really play well. But, I get it. He gets drafted because of potential. Does he have potential? Yes. But it's just a tough situation because at the end of the day, man, like, people look at you. You're LeBron's son. So, you got a target on your back at all times.
Yep.
So, even him going to the G League is going to be tough because the both boys is hungry over there.
Yeah.
They are hungry. Oh, you LeBron's kid? Okay.
Yeah. They're going to go after him, yeah.
Single game. That is tough. So, I feel bad for him in the sense where his dad is who he is, and people are always going to compare, and people are always going to come at you just because of that simple fact. But he's been handling it pretty good, and I don't think he's ready now to be in the NBA. He's not. Can he be down the line? Yes. But I think he's years away. Like, I don't even think he's, not even like a next year type of deal. Like, I think he's a couple years away. But I get it. He gets more of an opportunity because of who his dad is, and I respect it. And at the end of the day, you got to respect that because what LeBron has done for this game has been nothing but amazing. So we have to respect that. And it's one of those things, man. It's like you're the CEO of something and you just hand it over to your son. Yeah. This is what's going to happen. So I commend him for that as a father. But as a ball player, I don't think Bronny is ready. Can he be ready down the road is to be determined. But I feel for him because them boys in the G League is it's a little weird, the fact that he's only playing the home game.
Yeah.
And I think he will benefit a lot more if he played more because he has to keep playing. You're young. You have to keep playing, keep developing. But he's definitely not ready for the NBA at all.
So here's my response, guys. Brian Windhurst, please stop BSing, my friend. As you listen to all three, Windhorst tries to make it seem that Bronny's playing in the G League, only home games, is not any kind of special treatment. Ryan is a pro, Charlie is a pro. From both of their takes, they're both surprised that Bronny's not traveling with the team. It does not matter if you're a full roster player or not. Brian tries to be politically correct and protect his investments any way possible. I understand that. He does not want to rock the boat and does not want to offend anyone, and I understand that. But don't insult fans and player intelligence and try to tell us that this is perfectly normal and standard treatment for a player like Bronny. Charlie says Bronny is not ready at this time and he needs to play to be ready, and that's true. Brian says he himself, in place of Bronny, would want to prove himself he belongs and is good enough. He would want to play, home and away, no matter what. For me and everyone else, it really seems to look like the Lakers and LeBron are trying to shield Bronny from everything. LeBron especially, as he is his father. But being a father myself, sometimes shielding your kids too much and protecting them every minute of every day simply hurts them way more than actually letting them go through some rough times and allowing them to grow on their own. Thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure to check out these two videos. See you in the next one.